No matter what age your child is, you want the best for their future. What do they want to do after graduation? What career path do they want to take? These questions can be overwhelming. That's why you should ask them this question. What's your E? Seminole County Public Schools ePathway program is designed for your student to choose their own path in life from as many options as we can offer. Whether they're looking to enlist, enroll, or be employed, we're excited to help you and your child make it happen. Want them to enroll in a college or university? We'll help you find the best school for them to continue their education. Learn about grants and programs to help your child obtain their degree at a pace and a cost that works for you both. Are they looking to go straight into employment? Discover a variety of trades and skills that will propel their future. They can learn aviation maintenance, automotive repair, culinary arts, and more to hone their talents in growing industries. Is your child interested in enlistment? We'll help them find the right path of service, whether it's military, law enforcement, fire response, or EMS. They can serve the community while learning skills that will last a lifetime. What's your E? Explore options with ePathways by visiting us online at the link below.
What inspired me to get into engineering was Lego. So I started as a kid, as most kids do, working with Legos and just kind of doing your own thing, building the Lego sets, and I would often take apart my Lego sets, mix them together, and build something completely new. Then in about 4th grade, I was introduced to Lego robotics, which is where you have a actual robot that you could program, and you start with this brick, and that would feed information to Lego motors, and it would all communicate as a system, and you could do a lot of really cool robotic tasks with that. And that was really the start of me looking into engineering. The engineering I'm looking to pursue at first is mechanical engineering. This is what I'm going to go to UCF for, and this is going to be the start of my career. A mechanical engineer can really do anything. They work with a lot of thermodynamics and a lot of vibrations and really just anything that moves. So a lot of fields use mechanical engineering. I want to go past that and specialize into biomedical engineering, which is more along the lines of surgical robotics and medical machinery. I want to develop surgical robots, and with that I need to know exactly how the human body functions and how it functions with robotic systems. Essentially, I'll be able to design a system where a person will be able to communicate with a motor and hopefully improve their quality of life, whether this be through a surgical robot that a doctor is controlling or whether it's a prosthetic that's motorized.
I taught Josh his freshman year. He was so good with that inventor material. He picked up on it very quickly. He was ready to jump in and help other students, which I really, really appreciated. And he has carried those characteristics with him as he has moved through the program. And now with his journey moving forward in bioengineering, I can't wait to see what he's going to make with his knee brace and the orthotics that he's trying to produce.
The current prosthetic I'm looking at developing is a load-bearing knee brace in which I'm going to take a motor or servo and attach that to the knee, which will enable a person to be able to push past what their muscles currently are able to do, whether that be because of muscle fatigue or osteoarthritis in the kneecap where they're not able to put a lot of pressure on their knee. Current knee braces really only work when walking. There's still a lot of pain when there's extra forces being applied to the knee, such as walking upstairs or standing up from sitting down, things you and I normally don't think about. But for someone that has severe arthritis in their knee, this is hugely painful.
The strongest advantages of project-based learning, that hands-on experience that allows you to manipulate that material, really solidifies in the brain exactly how those things work.
The thing I would say about this program where it exceeds the most is the more you use it, the more it'll benefit you.
They cannot bring those in. No.
We're live, ladies. Ready to go? Okay. Good evening, everyone. If I could ask you to please take your seats. You got this. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Well, welcome, everyone. I'd like to call to order the March 11th, 2025 school board meeting. Today we have students from Lake Brantley High School to provide the invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The director of ESOL, Ms. Minnie Cardona, World Languages, will introduce our student, please.
Yes, good evening, Superintendent Beekman and school board members. It is with great pleasure that I introduce this amazing student from Lake Brantley High School, Sebastian Perdomo. He is a senior, and he is going to share some of his highlights of what he's doing currently right now at the high school. But just a little bit about Sebastian. He has taken world languages the 4 years that he has been at Lake Brantley. He took 3 years of French 1, 2, and 3, and 2 years of Spanish. So he has a overall GPA of 4.603.
Wow.
Just amazing. He is 14th of his class and has scored level 5. You named a test, he has done it. 5 on FAST, 5 on AP Lit, which he took last year. This year is an AP Language. And just an amazing human being. So at this time, I would like to also recognize his brother that is here, Luis Perdomo. He's a former graduate of Lake Brantley High School, too, and just graduated from UCF. I'm very proud of him, too. So at this time, I will have Sebastian come on up and do the invocation and the pledge.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, board members. Thank you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to everybody. As you know, I'm Sebastian Perdomo Hernandez. I was born in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, and I came here to the United States around 10 years ago. And I would like to talk to you guys about the world languages, yeah, out of school. So, like a lot of other AP Spanish students, I had already spoke Spanish. I already was very familiar with the language, understanding it, reading, writing, and all that before taking the classes, right? However, like a lot of the other AP Spanish students, it wasn't exactly at a university level. And that's one of the greatest strengths of the AP Spanish program, is being able to improve on what's already there and also just get to that university level, right? Like go beyond, not just be good enough. It also set me ahead a lot on my English classes. Like it really taught me how important it is and how helpful it is to be bilingual, because a lot of the skills that I learned in AP Spanish just carried over through my AP English classes, every other class I took. Some of the rhetorical devices that I learned in AP Spanish, I was able to just copy and paste them directly to AP Lit, really, literally. So really being bilingual is a big strength, and I think that's another really important part and helpful part of the language program and taking languages in high school, right? So I also competed in the World Language Festival for Seminole County over 2 years. The first year I competed in the impromptu, and the second year I competed as a recital. So I memorized the poem and then said it. And those two experiences really taught me how to make stuff up on the spot, really. Because in the impromptu, really, you get no time to think. You just gotta stand up there and then start talking and hope you find your point along the way, right? So meanwhile, the poem really also taught me a lot about public speaking in general, because before that, you don't have a lot of experience talking directly to people, right? You have your one-on-one conversations, you talk to a teacher, but you never have that experience of really projecting your voice and talking to a large crowd of people. And so those 2 years of competing there also helped me with that. Now, because my admissions essay and my college essays were a lot about my experiences immigrating into the United States, I think that taking these world languages and learning other languages in general was really crucial for my admittance into MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So, now that I'm going there, I plan on majoring in aerospace engineering, and then hopefully in the future, getting some flight experience so that maybe I could become an astronaut at NASA or SpaceX, you know, and represent it really. So those are the future plans. And with that said, thank you all, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so very much, and congratulations on the MIT. That's fabulous. Okay, please let the record reflect that Board Member Dellinger, Board Member Davis, Vice Chair Garrick, and myself are present. Member Abby Sanchez has caught the flu bug, and she sent her regrets. Superintendent Beeman, Attorney Cole Palmer, and of course the wonderful Jill, our board clerk, are present in attendance. We have one acknowledgement. Christine Adorno Riviera from Midway Elementary. She's SAC representative. Christine, where are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for being here this evening. Are there any other acknowledgements, Jill? Okay, thank you. Superintendent, do you have any agenda modifications?
The addendum for a good cause is marked on our electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item.
Thank you. School board members, the roll call order today is Member Dellinger, Member Davis, Vice Chair Garrick, and then myself. Do you have any agenda modifications? Member Dellinger? Member Davis? No modifications. Vice Chair?
No modifications,
and
Chair.
I have no modifications. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda outline?
So moved.
And a second? Thank you, Member Dellinger. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Superintendent, do we have presentations or recognitions?
Yes, we have a number of presentations tonight. We'll start with our Veteran of the Month, Ms. Reese Stock from Jackson Heights Middle Schools. And Ms. Stock will be introduced by Principal Claudemie Pierre.
Thank you. Board members, join me down.
Right by the superintendent?
Why not?
Well, welcome everyone. V. Stark graduated from Air Force Basic Military Training in the summer of 2009. As an undergraduate, he completed his technical school at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas and went on to his first duty station in Mildenhall, England. Unbeknownst to him, he met his future wife, Eleanor, a few days in the country before going on his first contingency deployment to Kandahar, Afghanistan in January 2010. Upon his return, he immediately took his skills from Afghanistan and trained up a team to compete at the Air Mobility Command Rodeo, an international combat readiness competition where his team was awarded for their high physical readiness and combat efficiency. Before leaving for his next duty station, Airman Stark married his beautiful wife, Eleanor, and then proceeded to a one-year unaccompanied tour. Airman Stark's next duty station was to Kusan Air Base in South Korea, where he served as both a fire team leader and began his interest in teaching as a ground combat instructor. During his one-year tour with the Wolfpack, the 8th Fighter Wing, Senior Airman Stark was awarded with the 8th Fighter Wing Airman of the Year. After Korea, Airman Stark was promoted to Staff Sergeant and moved to Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickman in Hawaii, where he served as a law enforcement sergeant before moving back into the instruction world as a combat readiness manager. During his time as JBPHH, he graduated from the Army Jungle Warfare School, the Air Force Close Precision Engagement course, and both the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center and Air Force Active Shooter Response courses. Sergeant Stark then went on to build the first Joint Base Active Shooter course, streamlining active shooter responses across 3 different law enforcement agencies, and teaching law enforcement officers how to deal with active threats in a dynamic and lethal manner. Sergeant Stark left active duty service in 2016 and joined the Hawaii Air National Guard, where he continued to train airmen. Well, this led to his nomination for NCO of the Year in 2017 for the Hawaii National Guard, where he was a finalist for the award and was awarded by the Director of the National Guard, Lieutenant General Michael Lowe, for his efforts. During his time in the Hawaii ANG, now Sergeant Technical Stark completed his associate degrees in teaching with honors before transferring to the 125th Fighter Wing in the Florida Air National Guard and starting his educational career as a UCF Knight. Sergeant Stark left service in 2019 after 10 years of service, graduated from UCF, and was soon hired as a teacher at Jackson Heights Middle School, where he has taught life skills, U.S. history, civics, JROTC, financial literacy, and now he is the Dean of Students. More recently, Mr. Stark has completed his Master's in Educational Leadership, graduating again from UCF in December 2024, with aspiration to be a principal here in Seminole County. He lives with his wife of 13 years, Dr. Eleanor Stark. They have 2 children, I'm sure you can see them right here, Bryce, 5 years old, and Mason, who is 4. And their 10-month-old puppy, Monster Ollie. Congratulations and thank you, Technical Sergeant Stark, for your service to our country and your continued service to our community.
One more time, then we'll go play.
Perfect. Congratulations. Thank you for being here, too.
Yes, thank you. You must be so proud. Well done.
Good evening. In December 2024, the Altamont Springs Police Department welcomed a special new addition, Canine Officer Bailey, a highly trained German short-haired pointer with a critical mission, firearms detection within our schools. Seminole County schools are regarded as some of the best and safest in the country, and Bailey's presence will further enhance that security. Born in August 2023 in Budapest, Hungary, Bailey is the newest partner of Master Police Officer Rob Shapiro, a 23-year veteran of the Altamont Springs Police Department with 6 years dedicated in serving as a school resource officer. Master Police Officer Shapiro has long been committed to building relationships and ensuring the safety of students and staff. Now, with Bailey by his side, they form a formidable team focused on continuing that mission. Primarily stationed at Lake Brantley High School, this dynamic duo will also support other schools throughout Altamont Springs and the county at large, strengthening safety across the community. Despite her young age, Bailey has already undergone extensive firearms detection training, making her a valuable asset from day one. As she continues to grow and refine her skills, Bailey will provide an added layer of security and reassurance for students, staff, and parents alike. With her keen nose and unwavering detection, safety is truly incapable of pause. So please join us all in celebrating Bailey and Master Police Officer Shapiro.
Superintendent leave.
I know.
Okay, tonight we have a focus on student achievement, Superintendent.
Yes, we do. Ms. Cardona and team will come, and our FOSA is focused on National World Languages Month in Seminole County Public Schools.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, Superintendent Beeman and school board members. Thank you so much for allowing us this time to showcase some of the great activities that are going on in the schools in the world language programs and dual language program here in Seminole County. March is National World Language Month, and we have actually started a little earlier. We've been celebrating since February, National World Language Month. So in today's presentation, we would discuss, I would like to showcase a video that was prepared by the Communications Department with some of our students from Lyman and Lake Mary High and teachers too, talking about the World Language Program. We'll mention the 6 languages that we offer in Seminole County, talk about the seal of biliteracy, the importance of the seal of biliteracy in our dual language schools. So at this time, we'll start with the video.
I think the thing I enjoy most about my Spanish class is the people I get to meet. All the different cultures and all the different people. It's like I feel like a big soup. Everything has every person is like a different ingredient that contributes to the whole thing of the culture of Spanish-speaking people. And I just feel like just meeting and getting to know them is the best thing I can ask for.
So I like to integrate it through immersive learning, immersive teaching, which is finding a common ground within all the cultures. For example, laughter is universal, food, curiosity, and so finding that common ground among the cultures, yet learning all of our differences, what makes us unique, and it just keeps it interesting.
It's taught me not to keep my eyes, to have tunnel vision on my own culture, but to think about the world as a whole, because everybody has their own personal life that's as expressive as my own.
The fact that I now live in Florida and that my family speaks a bit of Spanish too, so it's nice to communicate with my friends. It's also nice to pick up they're speaking about what they're learning.
Well, I always thought, like, I don't know, I feel like I was very closed off to other cultures and other worlds. So it definitely has helped me expand my horizons and learn about how people dress, how people dance, the food, especially the food. It's been really fun achieving milestones, like being able to have like those simple conversations and learning new words.
The culture and passion for Spanish. I'm a second language learner myself, so I knew the struggles of speaking another language, especially here in the United States when I came way back, when you have all the resources we have today. So I wanted to share where I came from. So coming from the country of Panama, that is not really heard of, and not too many people are here, that inspired me to want to give out and let everyone know, hey, you know, Spanish is there, we have these different traditions, cultural things. So just wanting others to be aware of the differences that we do have.
Lo que me motiva a mí para aprender un nuevo lenguaje es que puedo comunicarme con muchas otras personas, aprender nuevas culturas y hacer nuevas amistades. Así como también en la escuela, también en diferentes lugares, como afuera de la escuela buscando un nuevo trabajo, aprender a comunicarme con personas en el exterior. Y si voy a un lugar fuera de este estado, saber cómo comunicarme mejor.
I want to thank our students from Lyman High School, Lake Mary High School, and the teachers for helping us put this video together. So before I continue with the presentation, I would like to introduce my amazing staff because they are the ones that work behind the scenes. These are just a few of the staff members that help put everything together with all the programs that we work with, and they do it with lots of love. To my left, I have Vanessa Brewster, Curriculum Specialist, Veronica Lopez, Program Specialist, and Limaris Marrero, Curriculum Specialist. So here is our current enrollment of world languages for this year. It's 13,610 students. That is an increase from last year of over 1,200 students that have enrolled in a world language class. And like you saw in the previous slide, we do offer 6 languages in Seminole County, and I'm very proud of that. We should all be, because we are making those connections with language and culture and helping our students in so many areas. You can see here the current courses that we offer in Seminole County, from beginning Spanish, starting at the middle school, all the way to IB and AP Spanish, beginning French too, all the way up to AP and IB French, American Sign Language, levels 1 through 5, Latin. Yes, Latin is still out there, and I love that class, level 1 all the way up to AP, and IB Latin, Chinese 1 to AP Chinese, Japanese 1 to level 1. The teacher is slowly but growing her program too, having a lot of students interested in her class. And this year we started with the World Language Humanities for International Studies. We offer this course at 2 of the middle schools for the magnet program. South Seminole Academy is one, and Markin Woods Middle School is also offering the course. And this course offers the students just knowledge of all the different cultures. It's not on one specific culture, it's all cultures all over the world. It's really a neat course. And we also do data chats in world languages. We also have our end of the 9 weeks, we have common assessments. So we have data chats with the world language teachers to discuss where the students are according to the standards, their benchmarks. But I also wanted to highlight the AP classes that we have. The teachers have doing an amazing work. AP Spanish language from last year was an 88.8% passing rate, and Spanish Lit, 92.7% passing rate. As a former AP teacher, I know how difficult these classes are, and for the students, native and non-native speakers, to have these scores and have level 5s on their AP exams is just amazing. But again, it's a whole team. I say we have amazing teachers out there. They are constantly working, and we have PLCs for the AP World Language teachers too, so they're constantly collaborating and sharing best practices. So we're celebrating National Foreign Language Month, and I'm going to summarize the next 2 slides, but learning a world language, it is a skill, right, to really be proficient in the 4 domains of the language, but it's also more than that. It really helps our students gives them more opportunities for college and career readiness, whether they're going to college, university entrance exam, like our wonderful invoker tonight, Sebastian, which he forgot to mention, he got a full scholarship for his 4 years at MIT based on everything that he has done academically. I have really had the privilege of really talking to him a little bit more, and he said, you know, folks will think that I knew everything about Spanish, but I really didn't. I learned it in my AP classes. Now I consider myself completely bilingual. Now I am proficient in the 4 domains of the language. And with French too, I said, you didn't go on to AP French. I find that so interesting. He says, well, it's never too late. Who knows? You know, he was thinking about that. But learning the world language is that pathway to really being proficient in those competencies for college and career readiness. The students are expanding on their communication skills, their critical thinking, inclusion, leadership, professionalism, teamwork. They do a lot of cooperative work there in the world language classrooms. Technology, always. You already saw the world language labs there in the video. They are still using them. Thank you for your support on that, because we have had the labs now for about 8-9 years now, and they're still running. The teachers are using them. We're getting ready for our AP exams where those labs are being used. Also career pathways and self-development. So it really helps the students once they graduate from Seminole County, career, college, wherever the student is going, and all the job opportunities out there too that we know that really they're asking for bilingual employees out there. So at this time, I'm going to let our wonderful Vanessa Brewster take over. Yes.
Okay, sorry. So last month, we celebrated our World Languages Festival, and it was hosted at Lyman High School. This gave the students enrolled in our world languages classes an opportunity to showcase the language that they're learning. Through this, they did declamations, impromptus, skits, art, and they even had an entertainment section. Within the festival, the students and teachers were bridging language while connecting with the community and making sure that they were showcasing not just the language itself, but the culture. Our World Languages overall winners was Haggerty High School and Markham Woods Middle School, and we wanted to highlight the Markham Woods Middle School Spanish teacher, who is the Florida State Spanish Teacher Association Teacher of the Year. So she won that this year, and her kids who did participate in the World Languages Festival won first place for the middle school component. We also had Katie Kantingwala, who is the American Sign Language teacher at Winter Springs High School. She was our World Languages Teacher of the Year. So Katie is a big part of the Winter Springs ASL community, and she is also part of the deaf and hard of hearing members. She is part of many innovative and engaging activities that makes these students continue wanting to enroll in the program. Our ESOL students across the district had the opportunity to participate in our multilingual learner spelling bee. This is where they had academic vocabulary words across content areas, and we have Rashika Soni, who was our first place winner from Heathrow Elementary. Rashika has only been here for 2 years, and she competed against other ESOL students and won the first place. Then we have Leticia Cespedes, who was the second place winner from Stenstrom Elementary. On this slide, you can see how we're bridging community and language together. We have our French, Tamil, and Spanish represented on the screen, and this is the entertainment portion of the World Languages Festival. We also have Alexa Lorenzo, who is our bilingual journalist and was the MC of the program, pictured there with our superintendent. In addition to the declamations, skits, and impromptus, the students also have the opportunity to showcase the connections between culture and their language through art. We had 3D models, posters, multimedia videos across the entire Lyman cafeteria. These were also judged, but we just showcased a few of our favorites.
Tonight, thank you. As we celebrate our world languages tonight, we'd like to also tell you about the Seal of Biliteracy. The Seal of Biliteracy is an official designation from the state of Florida that is actually recognized on our students' high school transcripts and is recognized by universities and colleges. The Seal of Biliteracy recognizes a student's high level of competency in reading, writing, listening, and speaking in a world language other than English. This designation provides our students with an advantage whether they are pursuing post-secondary education, joining the workforce, or enlisting in the military. Colleges and universities may award scholarships, give course credit or placement because of it, and we all know the advantages of being bilingual and biliterate in a competitive workplace. So there are two levels of recognition for the Seal of Biliteracy. There's silver and there's gold. To earn the silver Seal of Biliteracy, you can earn 4 credits in the same world language with a minimum of a 3.0 GPA, or a passing score on an AP or IB world language exam. The gold Seal of Biliteracy is earned by achieving the same 4 credits with the GPA requirement, but on top of that, you also must earn a level 4 or higher on the 10th grade ELA FAST assessment. The second option for the gold would be to earn a 5 or higher on a world languages AP exam. I'm sorry, a 4 or higher on the AP exam, or a 5 or higher on the IB exam. In 2024, we had 514 students earn the Seal of Biliteracy, and that's a 7% increase from 2023. In 2025, we are on track to meet or exceed that number from 2024, so we're going there. Next month, we will be celebrating the Seal of Biliteracy recognition event ceremony at Seminole High School. It's going to be on August 15th, April 15th from 6 to 8 p.m., and we hope that you will all be there to join us. But we know that all this recognition and these awards don't happen by themselves. We have our world languages teachers to thank for that. And as a district here, we also support them by providing them with resources to help them in their endeavors. So some of those resources are monthly newsletters, PLCs, book studies, and trainings such as the ones that you see on the images there, which include language and standards, world language standards and strategies such as total participation techniques, 7 steps to a rich interactive foreign language classrooms, interpersonal communication, world language lab training, and AP training. On this next slide, you'll see some of the offerings that are still upcoming for the remainder of the school year. For example, we have AP lab training, which will help our students prepare for the AP exam. We have best practices in the AP World Languages classroom. And then we also have World Language Lab training for South Seminole Academy, for example, and then also at Carillon Elementary, which is one of our dual language schools. Back to Ms. Cardona.
Oh, I just want to mention some of the activities that are going on at the schools in celebration of World Languages Month. Haggerty High School already had their silent dinner at the Oviedo Mall. It was a huge success. A lot of participants participated in that. Our Japanese students from Lyman High School will be participating for the first time in the state Japanese competition coming up in Orlando. And our Spanish classes, we have 2 high schools that will be participating in the Spanish state competition, which those students that participated in the World Language Festival already have been practicing for those state competitions. So good luck. I know they're going to do great on those competitions. And then we're going to conclude with our dual language programs that is growing in Seminole County. Limaris.
Good evening. I am Limaris Marrero, and I am a curriculum specialist. Today, I am very excited to share with you how our dual language program support our student learning through a well-structured instructional model. We have 9 schools in grades from K through 5th, and each year we add a grade level. We also have around 1,300 students enrolled in the dual language program. The goal of the program is to empower and support our students to become bilingual, biliterate, and become global citizens. Our students receive instructions in Spanish for math and science. We ensure that students receive learning gains in the content area while maintaining a high academic standards. We follow two instructional models. We start with 90% of Spanish, and then we gradually switch to a more balanced model that is the 50-50. And that way we ensure that the students develop proficiency in both languages. Everything in our framework is aligned to the standards. We just translate everything to Spanish for math and science. And that way we ensure that we support our students, our family, and of course, our teachers. We also use Maravillas as a counterpart for Wonders. In that way, we ensure that we have consistency with the English language arts. To continue to support our teachers, we offer monthly PLCs where they have that time to share and collaborate some best practices, develop instructional strategies, specifically for a bilingual setting. We are also committed to stay updated in a bilingual education by actively participating in the National Association for Bilingual Education, that is NAVE. We engage with the latest research. We also attend to the conference and we learn new strategies and we connect with the experts in the field. Last year, we had the opportunity to present in this conference. We had a great turnout. Our presentation was full, and we received a lot of positive feedback, so that's amazing. Additionally, we have 5 educators that received the digital badge from NAVE, and I am one of those teachers that received that digital badge. We spent 18 months learning through models. We meet once a month with a lot of educators from national, it will be from New York, California, Florida, and we share educational strategies. And this badge serves as a credential for our professional growth and expertise in a bilingual education. And this May, our students from 5th grade will receive the dual language medals to celebrate their achievement in the program. This is a special recognition for their hard work and dedication to become a bilingual learner. Now in this table, you can see our actual enrollment. We add in grade level each year. That's why you see Bentley Elementary with 40 students, because they start this year with this school academic, so they only have kinder. Next year, they will have 1st grade. And I want to end my part sharing something that happened a few weeks ago. I was in a dual language classroom, and the teacher was asking, can you tell me some words that start with the letter A? But she was speaking in Spanish. And a student said, manzana. Manzana start with the letter M. And I was, manzana? And then I make that connection. Manzana in English start with the letter A, apple. And that's exactly what we want. Everything I know in Spanish, I know it in English. And everything I know in English, I know it in Spanish. And then we have that bridge, that connection between those two languages. And that means that our dual language program is working exactly the way we want it. And thank you for your dedication and support to the bilingual education.
And I love that story. She came to the office, just running to my office to tell me about the manzana, which manzana in English is apple, but the non-native speaker was able to make that connection. It just came out manzana, because he was thinking already in Spanish. So our students are really making growth. We have the data too. Our dual language classes are doing just amazing work with FAST, with science, math. We are on the right track. I do want to congratulate those teachers that finished the digital badging. That was a lot of hard work for 18 months at the national level, and we have actually one of the first group from the state of Florida that earned that badge. So there were teachers, all the dual language teachers from Eastbrook Elementary, Wicklow, and Limaris. So thank you, amazing work. And thank you, board members, for all your support. This concludes our presentation. I don't know if you all have any questions, but thank you for your support.
And thank you all for being here. We really appreciate the great work that your team is doing. I love that story, too. Member Dellinger, do you have any questions? Okay, Member Davis? Vice Chair.
I just wanted to say thank you. I had the honor of representing the board and joining you all at the World Languages Festival. And thank you so much, Director Cardona, for spending so much time with me, introducing me to the students, allowing me to come in and eavesdrop on the competition. I know with the young gentleman who was speaking about the impromptu speech earlier, I got to see that in action, which was fabulous. So appreciated seeing the multi-layered approach to education. You all just would have loved it. Of course, you saw some examples here, but the art and the food. Thank you so much for my delicious lunch. I appreciate that. And I also wanted to say a special thank you to all of the volunteers, not just the teachers that came on their day off to support the students, but the student volunteers. I had a great conversation with the Latinos in Action, and they were so proud, not just of the work they do in these festivals and special events, but building a real community, which I know is especially important for students that have come from a different country and may feel like a fish out of water until they get their bearings. And there could be no greater testament to embracing different cultures and making sure that we have opportunities for all our students than the young man you brought this evening who's on his way to MIT but didn't speak a word of English just 10 years ago. So thank you very much for providing all of these opportunities, and thank you and the other teachers for taking advantage of the professional leadership and the opportunities that we're giving you as well. It's a great symbiotic relationship, and I'm very proud to support your efforts.
And no one can top that. So thank you all. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, it's now time for board comments general. We'll do the committee reports later in the meeting. So let's start with Member Dellinger.
Thank you, Chair. All of us have been to many events over the last 5 or 6 weeks since we met the last time, and I won't go through that long list. But I do want to mention 2 that I was involved in that pretty much exemplify our students and the things that they can accomplish, and also the dedication of the teachers and the hard work and the planning that goes into what they do. The first was the history fair. As a former history teacher, I love being a judge in that contest, and so I was, and my category was websites, and I was just blown away by the topics that the kids chose and also their ability to articulate their learning and how they learned. And it was really wonderful, and I feel really proud of them, but also that they are going to be amazing citizens and participants in our society as they go on and become adults and members of the community. And then the other one was I had the time to go and sit in on some of the band MPAs at Lyman High School. I actually went out to Haverty for one and then to Lyman for another. And I am a big lover, especially of percussion. So I really enjoyed watching those band students. They're amazing. If you close your eyes, you would think you were at some, amazing, orchestra concert somewhere. But also our band directors, they spend so much time working with these students, and all the planning involved and getting them everywhere. And their season is all year long, and it's just wonderful to hear them. I do want to take a minute to provide some information to the public in general. And my purpose in doing so is just to make sure that parents and members of the community are aware of the facts. The school district and its personnel have nothing to do with decisions that parents make regarding their children's health or medical care. Children under the age of 18 cannot consent to any kind of medical or surgical procedure. Our schools are not hospitals or medical facilities, they are schools. School board policies related to students' health do not allow school personnel to provide medical care of any kind, including something as simple as giving a student a Tylenol without their parents' consent. Parents are responsible for their children's health care. And I wanted to make sure that that information was shared, and also to encourage folks, if they have questions, to call their school principal or call student support services or go onto our website and look at the policies related to student health care. They're all available there, and anyone can read them at any time. So that's my little public service announcement for tonight. That's it, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Member Davis.
I just want to share a thank you to our superintendent, Sarita Beeman. We all here on the school board go to individual schools. She gives not only a teacher, but a member of the staff and a student Spark Awards every time she goes. One of the members of the school board usually attends with her. And during these visits, we get to go around and see various classrooms, usually between 5 and 7. The principal shows us around different levels, different great things that are occurring in the individual schools. And this is the best part of being on the school board. And I wanted to thank her for making this happen, because we really do get a look at what each local school is doing and how great the things are in each individual schools. I know we go to functions, I know we go to places where there's festivals and there's things on display and there's theater, but this is the everyday grunt work that our teachers do every day, and the relationships that they build with their students. And that is just great to see, all different kind of situations. It's not always the best of the best. It's not, prefabricated that, they're practicing how they're going to behave. I mean, it's just real stuff. And I want to thank you for putting that all together and for also giving those awards out, because I can see how much those students, the teachers, and other staff really, really appreciate it.
The favorite part of our day, I think.
Of our job, yeah. I would agree. Hard to agree.
So thank you again.
Thank you, Member Davis. Vice Chair.
I wanted to say thank you, Dr. Dellinger, for letting me peek in on one of your history presentations. It was nice to see the student in action, and nice to see your expertise as well. I really appreciated the direct questions you asked and looking for deep research. Thank you for letting me be a fly on the wall. I had the opportunity to attend the All Together Now conference in Tampa, and many of our PTA, one of whom is here tonight, were in attendance. PTA, as a mom, I know I often thought of the PTA as the people that were, raising the funds from the fun run and holding the scholastic book fairs and those kinds of fun events. But PTA is the longest running children's advocacy group in the country, and they do real meaningful work in addition to things like fun runs and scholastic book fairs to make sure that our kids in individual schools have some extra perks. But they do advocacy work to make sure that each and every child, regardless of their ability, regardless of their zip code, regardless of their special needs, has what they need to succeed in school. So I would like to say thank you for those valuable partners, and to remind everybody that PTA is not just for parents, it's also for community members. So I'm sure many of us have joined PTA. Some of us are parents, and so we've joined those first. But those community memberships are open to everyone, and we would love for anyone who has an interest in children's advocacy to please join a local PTA. So thank you for that. I had several of us did, had the chance to go and celebrate at the Math Festival. Thank you to Teaching and Learning, and especially to Assistant Superintendent Faizan and all of our elementary assistant superintendents for making that a joyous day. 500 plus students on a Saturday got together for 7 hours for math, and they were just thrilled. So I'm really excited to see that. I was invited to Winter Springs High School to have a discussion with the Wellness Club, which works in conjunction with Allie's Hope to make sure that we provide mental health supports and information for students. So that was really informative, and I appreciate, I don't often get to peek over to Winter Springs High School, and so that was nice to be there. And I just want to say a special thank you to, of course, Papa Gaffney, our principal, as well as all the other folks there. And two more quick things. I am starting my RAP, which is Reading Acceleration Program, volunteerism at Pinecrest Elementary in this last 9 weeks. If you have any time, talent, or treasure that you would like to share with our students in Seminole County, I promise you we will put it to good use. I've been passionate about early childhood literacy, and so Dr. Gard Harold at Pinecrest has given me the opportunity to work directly with students. Our community involvement team has loads of ways you can get involved. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you'd like ideas. This is a perfect time to start thinking about it as we head into summer, and then get your game going in the fall. Finally, many of us were able to attend the State of the County, and where we were reminded and proud to be recognized as the key economic driver, Seminole County Public Schools, to our region. Our A-rated, high-performing premier school district continues to be the primary reason why people move to Seminole County. And I want to say thank you all for entrusting us with the education of your children. If you've got good stories to tell, please share them. If there are challenges, please share with us, because it is our responsibility and honor to make sure that every single student under our charge gets the education that he or she needs. And with that, I just wanted to write, as a public service, wanted to remind everyone that in our Constitution, the Florida Constitution, Article 9 reads, "The education of children is a fundamental value of the people of the state of Florida. It is therefore a paramount duty of the state to make adequate provision for the education of all children residing within its borders. Adequate provision shall be made by law for a uniform, efficient, safe, secure, and high-quality system of free public schools that allows students to obtain a high-quality education, and for the establishment, maintenance, and operation of institutions of higher learning and other public education programs that the needs of the people may require." Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I have just a couple of quick things. We are all looking forward to the Girls Summit coming up. That is always a fabulous day and so meaningful, so wanted to remind everybody about that. Kindergarten registration is ongoing. Please tell your friends, neighbors. Enrollment numbers are lower than they were at this point last year, so we'd like to encourage you to get the word out. I don't know if there was a baby boom because of COVID or something, but I don't know, but we're registering your kindergartners. I had the opportunity to join our supervisor of elections and go to Hagerty High School, where we registered and pre-registered voters. And there were over 200 students that participated. And I just wanted to thank the supervisor for doing that for our kids in high school. They also got the first chance ever to, had made a sample ballot with one constitutional amendment question that was a trick question. and essentially the whole student body voted for more homework, which is not really what they wanted. So she shared the importance of needing to really research the ballots, and I just feel very fortunate that I was included in that opportunity. I would also like to thank our Sheriff's Department, Captain Shaw specifically, Sanford PD, and other officers for their collaboration over the weekend. I know they've worked tirelessly for our district and the safety of all of our students and teachers, and just, I couldn't let it go without saying thank you. We appreciate you. Okay, and with that, we'll move along here. It is now time for public comment agenda items. Vice Chair, if you could read the statement, please.
The purpose of the public participation segments of the board meeting is to allow the public to address matters within the board's jurisdiction and not to resolve individual grievances or disputes. Public comments related to education, the board agenda, and the district are welcome and encouraged, but public comment segments are not forums to engage in personal attacks against school system employees or board members. To maintain orderly conduct, the public comment segments of the meeting may not be used as open forums to discuss matters unrelated to education, to support or oppose candidates for public office, including presentation of political and/or campaign issues, announcing candidacy and/or campaigning, or to engage in commercial speech attempting to sell a service or product to the board or public. Nor are they forums to address matters involving disciplinary actions of any kind, pending claims, complaints, or litigation against the district or district personnel. Public comment segment durations are as follows. Agenda items, limited to 3 minutes. One group representative speaking on a proposition, maximum of 6 minutes. Speaker must remain on topic for agenda item proposition. Non-agenda items limited to 2 minutes. Speakers shall direct their comments only to the board and may not address the audience or other speakers. No speaker may yield his or her time to any other person. Generally, substitution of speakers will not be allowed.
Thank you, Vice Chair. When I call your name, if you'll please come up to the podium, I'm going to list the first 3 names. Matt Morgan, you're first, please, followed by Barbara Beasley, then Leslie Kirschenbaum. The podium right here by Jill. Thank you.
One day they'll make a 7-foot microphone, I swear. I'm Longwood City Commissioner Matt Morgan, and also Central Florida Special Needs Free Advocate for any of our special needs families that need help. I'm a autism dad of a nonverbal autistic son named Jackson, and I'm here. I wanted just to speak about what was said earlier about we can't give directives toward medical, etc. I just want to remind the school board here, the superintendent, your attorney, you're their boss, not the other way around. And with this latest lawsuit against Hayden White, an 8-year-old special needs student.
Mr. Morgan, I'm sorry. May I have a point of clarification? Can we discuss someone else's lawsuit?
No, Madam Chair. Pursuant to the policy 169.1, which was just read, it is not the proper forum in which to address any personal matters of that type. Certainly, general statements about concerns regarding educational matters, including ESC general educational issues, can be addressed, but not the actual litigation information and personal information.
So if you can make it in more general, just general terms without you.
So I'm not allowed to come here and stick up for the special needs kid that's being sued? No?
Sir, this is not the correct forum for addressing personal matters, as was read to you earlier regarding the policy.
What would be the proper forum?
The forum in which it is currently sitting, which is an active litigation.
So at the end of the meeting, during 2 minutes worth of public participation?
Active litigation, sir, not at the school board meeting. This is not the correct forum.
Okay. You guys could keep hiding this, but you guys are in 5 elected officials. At 3 of the 5 of you, I know and I love you to death. You guys have hearts bigger than you are tall. You guys are better than this. Stop listening to your attorney. Stop listening to your superintendent. Do the right thing for this boy.
Thank you. Barbara Beasley, followed by Leslie Kirschenbaum.
I got to lower that microphone quite a bit.
Yeah.
Good evening, Board, Ms. Beeman, and gathered citizens. As a policy advocate for people with disabilities and the parent of 2 former SCPS students with multiple neurospicy diagnoses, I refuse to stay silent any longer about the escalating crisis within SCPS regarding exceptional student education. Since January alone, undeniable evidence of abuse, blatant violations of laws designed to protect children with diverse abilities and guarantee their right to education under FAPE, and retaliatory actions by this board and superintendent against some of the most medically and academically vulnerable children in this county have piled up. This is unacceptable. Let's be clear. While you've gutted the Behavior and Curriculum Support Team, BCST, and restricted programs like Reading Eggs to ELL students only, sending a loud message that equity and equality don't apply to all, you somehow found taxpayer money to fund a vindictive lawsuit aimed at bankrupting a family.
Point of order.
Okay, I'll move on. SCPS loves to boast the best district in the area, maybe even the state, but that's a hollow claim when you're failing the weakest among us. With an ESE population nearing 25%, your neglect doesn't just hurt those children, it drags down this entire community. If you let this continue, the state and national spotlight will turn on you. Here's what I would like to see happen. Reinstate critical resources like BCST and ensure equitable access to programs like Reading Eggs for all students who need them. No more selective cuts. Drop the retaliatory issues, equip our teachers with the tools and trainings they need to succeed, and then respect their professional expertise instead of undermining it. This isn't a request, it's a mandate from a community that's watching. Tell us right here tonight how you'll fix this. Lay out your timeline and your plan, because vague promises won't cut it anymore. Accountability starts now, and we won't back down until we see results. Thank you.
Thank you. Leslie Kirschbaum, followed by Michelle Minella.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, board members. I'm here because this board's priorities are a disgrace when it comes to our special needs kids. Let's start with my son, autistic, brilliant, and thriving. He's thriving because of a program called Reading Eggs, a program that's lighting him up, helping him learn and grow every day. But guess what? I'm the one footing the bill, me, out of my pocket. Why? Because this district thinks special needs kids like mine aren't worth the investment. Oh, but the typical kids, the normal ones, you've got no issue funding it for them. Tell me and explain why my son's progress and future doesn't match your budget. Why is he less than? He's not a second-class student, and I'm done with him being treated like one. We're not asking for handouts. We're demanding fairness. You've got the money. Use it for all our kids, not just the ones who fit your neat little boxes. Speaking of failing our kids, let's talk about how you're testing these ESE students. The programs you're using, they're a disaster. These kids, our autistic kids, our special needs kids, are failing left and right. And it's not because they can't learn. It's because your tests and your systems are garbage. They don't work. They don't engage. Reading Eggs does, a program that is good for children ages 2 through 13. It's proven that it clicks with autistic brains and gets results. My son's living proof. But instead of making that the standard, you stick with junk that sets them up to crash and fail. Why? Are you too lazy to change? Too cheap? You're not just dropping the ball, you're rigging the game against them, and it's infuriating. And then there's this other outrage, using our taxpayer dollars to drag a special needs family back to court. They fought for their child, won, and judge ruled. Am I not allowed to say the blanket statement that's the obvious? The judge ruled, yes, the kid gets the accommodations.
Ma'am, this is not the forum to address the specific matter regarding the complaint that is already in active litigation.
Okay, well, you're spending my money, our money, to fight that ruling, to claw back.
Not the appropriate
Why?
forum
You can't
to
handle being
address
told
a
you're wrong?
personal matter.
Okay. Well, because you'd rather, what, waste cash that supports a kid who needs it. That's not just petty, it's vile. You're punishing a family that's already battled enough.
This is not the appropriate forum to address the personal matter. If you would
Okay.
like to make the general comments that you started off with, by all means, address the general concerns that you have regarding any ESC matters.
Okay, I'm glad you guys are saying that on statement,
Thank you
that they
very
don't want to
much.
talk about it. Well, but wait, here's the kicker. While you're burning our taxpayer money on that, you've got the nerve to slip in pay raises for staff counsel quietly. Are you kidding me? You're rewarding the lawyers who fight
Thank you.
our
Your
kids
time
with
has
a nice
expired.
little bonus?
Thank you. Your
Absolutely
time
not.
has expired.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Michelle Manella, followed by David White, followed by Nina Sandberg.
Order, please.
Good
Order.
evening. Good evening, Board, and good evening, Superintendent Beeman. To pick up on what Leslie was saying, it is a shocking use of our tax dollars to put in a very large raise for the district attorney rather than focusing on where it really needs to go. The rank and file staff, the teachers, the teaching assistants, the students themselves. And you really need to reevaluate how this county is spending money, or how you are spending the taxpayer dollars that have been given to you. You mentioned earlier that enrollment is down because I think that is because people are very disappointed, especially with how special needs students are treated in this district. This is a widespread problem. There should be a lot more parents coming forward and giving examples of what has happened to their students, their special needs students in this district, but they are afraid to because of retaliation. This is something that is a huge problem in this district. It has been a huge problem for years, and it really needs to be addressed. These are vulnerable students. They have a right to be educated properly, to have their medical needs accommodated, and you are not doing so. This is not going to sit well with the taxpayers of this county, myself included. Thank you.
Thank you. David White, followed by Nina Sandberg, followed by Jessica Tillman. Good evening.
Good evening. Before I get started, can I get clarification on your policy? Ms. Attorney, your policy advises that you cannot speak regarding pending claims, complaints, or litigation against the district. I believe they're speaking about something that you're the petitioner in. So please advise on
Actually,
your
it
policy.
also states there may not be complaints. It also addresses beyond just litigation against the district.
Yeah, I've got the policy up in front of me.
Yes, sir. And therefore, personal complaints and matters is not the correct forum in which to address it. If you'd like to speak to any general concerns that you have regarding ESC matters, by all means do so.
Okay. Your policy specifically states against the district or district personnel. You actually filed
This is
against
not the
me.
correct forum to address personal matters or complaints. However, if you have general concerns regarding ESC matters and educational purpose, by all means, say your comment.
Okay. Good evening, board members. My name is David White, and I'm here tonight not only as a father, but as an advocate for my son and for every family in this district whose child's future is impacted by the policies you approve. I want to address Agenda Item E, the Student Progression Plan, because for too long, this board has simply accepted the recommendations of district staff without truly considering the voices of the families these plans affect. That must change. My son, Hayden, medically complex and disabled. His education, his health, and even his survival depend on carefully crafted plans that this district has repeatedly ignored, altered, or refused to follow. I'm going to skip the portion about the lawsuit that you filed against my son. This is not how student plans should be developed. This is not how families should be treated. Right now, this board is being asked to approve changes to the student progression plan, but I ask you, have you personally reviewed how these changes impact children? Have you sought input from families affected by your policies? Or are you simply taking the word of district staff, assuming they always get it right? Because I can tell you from firsthand experience, they don't always get it right. And when they don't, children suffer. I implore this board to stop blindly approving plans that impact children without first hearing from the families those plans affect. The policies you approve directly determine whether students, especially those with medical needs, get the support they need to succeed. I am asking you to hold off on approving changes until you review them yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Nina Sandberg, followed by Jessica Tillman, please.
Good evening. I'm Nina Sandberg. I would like to see what your student progression plans are for the wide variety of students with disabilities, the students who have mental, physical, and medical disabilities, and the students who have learning disabilities. SCPS has a very long and ugly history of deliberately and intentionally preventing students who have disabilities from progressing. SCPS denies reasonable accommodations, denies the proper instruction, and even denies medical accommodations. SCPS deliberately and intentionally refuses to follow IEPs, 504s, and even instructions given to them by doctors of disabled students. SCPS tries to get disabled students out of the school system by doing all kinds of retaliation in order to deny the students with disabilities their free, appropriate public school education. For at least 8 years or more, SCPS has attacked the handicapped community instead of trying to serve the handicapped community professionally, ethically, honestly, and legally. I am a former teacher with both SCPS and OCPS, and I was personally taught that what SCPS is doing to these special needs children is a violation of their civil rights. It is also a violation of professional ethical standards of the public school teaching profession. It is a violation of the rules governing IEPs in the state of Florida, and it certainly constitutes a type of child abuse since the district is denying a medically fragile child his nurse to keep him safe at school.
Ma'am,
the district
please,
is denying
this is not
this child
form
his faith
for
and
which
is denying
you are
this
allowed
child
to address.
his opportunity to progress
this is not
academically.
the appropriate form, and you have
I
been
think-
warned to stop addressing. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Jessica Tillman. Thank you, Joe. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Tillman. First, I want to say thank you for adding exemption information to your DTAP notification to middle schoolers. So thank you for that. In Seminole County, the district prides itself on being a nationally recognized district, #1 district in the state of Florida, leading in education. Florida is leading in education. However, one of the largest issues in SCPS is you have a sue us mentality with most things, but specifically with our special needs families. Special needs families are refused services regularly. Most families cannot spend $30,000 to sue for a device worth $1,200. Time after time, special needs advocates hold press conferences to bring awareness to the systemic abuse to special needs learners with no change. It seems like every board meeting, there's at least one special needs family speaking up asking for their kids to be supported. You pretend to care for face, but turn your backs as soon as the cameras stop rolling. You claim to support all students. You claim to be a nationally recognized #1 A-rated district, so prove it. Prove that you care about these special needs kids. Prove that we don't have to continue litigation. Prove you are leading the way, not leaving special needs kids behind. Not just running around a car, pumping up the tires on a used car to make the sale. We are not buying it anymore. Earlier today, the district was presented with graduation rates, which have been on a slow decline for a few years now, getting closer and closer to the state average. If the district spends our tax dollars on education and not litigation, maybe our kids could read and do math. Instead, the district continues to waste our taxpayer dollar. Do better. I also want to bring the attention to two of the several job descriptions on the agenda. The first item, J, Manager 1, Human Resources. This job description is being changed to lower the education required while also raising the pay grade. How does that make sense? How is that saving the district money? The other item is AX, Staff Council. What is the last-minute agenda item changing? Also, the pay grade is being raised. So you spend all of our tax money not only to force families to sue the district, but also lining the pockets of those spending the time in litigation with our families and community members. We went from a board that traditionally follows the law to a board more concerned with suing families no matter the law. This is what happens when you have a DEI attorney as a superintendent. I am the chapter chair for Moms for Liberty, Seminole County.
Point of order. That was a personal attack on our superintendent, and I don't think that that is following our policy.
That is not in line with the policy. That is correct.
Seminole has had a chapter since August of 2021. Our mission at Moms for Liberty is dedicated to fighting for the survival of America by unifying, educating, and empowering parents to defend parental rights at all levels of government. Our vision is that Americans empower and thrive in a culture of liberty. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment section. We are now up to the consent agenda. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I do, that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Board members?
So moved.
Thank you. Moved by Member Dellinger, second by Member Davis. Is there any discussion regarding the agenda? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, the motion passes. Okay, we are now, no items removed for separate consideration. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on discipline hearings?
Yes, I do, that the School Board of Seminole County approve the student disciplinary recommendations from 1/27/2025 to 3/2025 to 10/2025 to 18/2025 and 2/24/2025.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We have no unfinished business. Item 10, Superintendent, do you have a recommendation on a new business item?
I do, that the School Board of Seminole County adopt the instructional materials, recommendations of the Social Studies Adoption Committee for Advanced Placement U.S. History, and authorize the superintendent to purchase the committee's choice.
Thank you. Board members, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? There's a little joke, inside joke down here.
I thought Dr. Dellinger, with her history experience, would want to do that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Superintendent, do you have a report?
I do. There's a number of items that are read-only, but Captain Shaw will come to give the quarterly school safety report. And so there he is.
Thank you, Captain. Welcome.
Thank you all. Good evening, board members and the superintendent. Quarterly, the Department of Education Office of Safe Schools will provide a statistical report for compliance visits conducted at Seminole County Schools. As requested by Florida Statute 1006.07, the school safety specialist must provide the superintendent and school board at least quarterly any noncompliance by the school district with laws or rules regarding school safety. During quarter 2, 16 schools were inspected by the Department of Education. One school inspected had no school safety requirement deficiencies documented, which represents 6.25% of the number of inspected schools. All other documented deficiencies were easily resolved and corrected in a timely manner. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Captain. And Superintendent, did you have a special comments?
I do.
Thank you.
I know that you all are aware that SCPS recently lost a member of our Seminole County Public Schools family, Mr. Ned Julian. Mr. Julian is the longest-serving school board attorney in our district's history, I believe, as he provided legal counsel to the district and to the school board for 38 years before his retirement. Mr. Julian passed away on February 11th, and his celebration of life service will take place on the 14th, on Friday. Chair Kraus, I respectfully request that we have a moment of silence in honor of Mr. Julian's exemplary service to the district, to the school board, to the students throughout Seminole County, and just take a moment for his.
Absolutely. Board members. Thank you. Okay, it's now time for board comments. I would just like to add, I received written comments from Member Sanchez. It's believed that she should report on that at our next meeting, so I will not be reading those. We'll start with Member Dellinger. Do you have any committee updates?
I do. I've now attended at least one meeting of the committees I'm assigned to. Business Advisory Board met last week, and the work continued on their deep dive into custodial services, and they hope to have a tentative timeline to provide feedback by the 1st of August, if not sooner than that. Also, the Central Florida School Boards Coalition met, and they are working on their 2025 legislative priorities and then advocating during the session. And then finally, I am now the chair of the audit committee, and if you didn't read the 200 and something page report that's in this board book, I'd like to make a couple of comments. First, Mr. Pavlicek and Ms. Grovick reported on this annual comprehensive financial report, and our audit firm, RSM, did not report any findings. But I would like to share some noteworthy comments from this report. I think it's important because I don't really think that the public necessarily reads this 278-page report, to just mention a couple of things. Seminole County Public Schools is the 13th largest school district in the state of Florida and 57th nationally. The average age of the district schools is 31 years. We have some that are older than that. The Florida Department of Education reports that SCPS has among the lowest administrative costs statewide and was ranked among the best in the state for energy and transportation efficiency. That really speaks to the work that our people do. Seminole County School Board is the largest employer in the county with almost 7,000 full-time employees. With the newly approved penny sales tax over the next 10 years, Seminole County will receive an estimated $325 million, all of which will be used to support capital projects. And it's important to share also for transparency that over the last year and a half, audits have been completed with no findings for data protection, student discipline, asset management, and PeopleSoft assessment. And I'd also like to thank you to our finance department, which has been awarded a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting for 23 years and will more than likely receive it again this year. So congratulations to them for an outstanding report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Member Davis.
Our next Children's Alliance, which will include the Children's Cabinet, will be on March 19th. So I'm hoping we'll have some updates from them.
Thank you. Vice Chair.
The superintendent and I had the opportunity to attend the foundation retreat, which was quite an honor. There was a great breakout session, keynote speaker, and I'd like to say a special thank you to AAA, who hosted the event. It's fabulous to have such dedicated partners that know the work that's going on in our district each and every day for every student. So I would like to say thank you. Thank you to Jean Van Smith for her outstanding leadership. I also had the opportunity to join Dr. Sean Gard-Harold. I was invited by Kelly Astro, who is the Senior VP of United Way, to join the committee Uplifted, which Dr. Gard-Harold currently serves on. This is working with United Way of Central Florida in order to make sure that our students are on path to receive college degrees or higher certifications. So I look forward to that work and the leadership of Dr. Gard-Harold. We did not get to go to our Goldsboro meeting this month, had a conflict, but the UIA Gala was this weekend, so though it wasn't a committee, it was great to be among other folks throughout the county who are putting education first and making sure that we're able to serve our students, particularly our most vulnerable student populations who need an extra lift. So that was a great event. And finally, this is Women's History Month. And on Friday, my mom will be 85 years old. And so I would like to say happy birthday to my mom. And how this relates is she was the first person in our family to attend college. She attained a 2-year degree, which inspired my grandmother to go back to school, who also earned her associate's degree. And at 85, my mom still works full-time and is a great reminder to all of us that no matter our age or station in life, we can be productive and useful members of society. So happy birthday, Mom.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. The Steinway Society met today, so obviously I was here and not there. I will provide minutes from that meeting. The Orlando Science Center met last week. Their neighborhood science program is in jeopardy. It is a grant from the federal government that they issued a stop work because the last administration issued the grant for underserved communities, and they wrote the response in that manner. It serves the Boys and Girls Club and another area, so it's at jeopardy of losing its funding. So we talked about that. They also did get the approval from Orange County government. They're going to enclose their patio outside the patio area, so expand their space. So we're excited about that. I serve on the FSBA Federal Advocacy Committee. They met and made recommendations that then go to the Advocacy Committee regarding the national legislative priorities through COSABA. And so then after the Advocacy Committee digests it, then they will send it to the Board of Directors, who will present it at the annual conference. We need to stay tuned about that. And those were all of my committees this month. It is now time for public comments, non-agenda items, and each speaker will be allowed 2 minutes. Nina Sandberg, Leslie Kirschenbaum, David White, first 3 speakers.
I'm Nina Sandberg. SCPS is guilty of massive waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars, which it is wasting in its legal department. SCPS is engaging in legal activities that the tax-paying citizens do not approve of and that the district has no business engaging in. The legal department in SCPS needs to be gutted and doged. And these attorneys who are wasting our money to engage in malicious activities need to be fired. The money that SCPS is wasting in its legal department needs to be reallocated to the exceptional education department to service the students with disabilities instead. SCPS needs to have a properly functioning civil rights compliance office that monitors civil rights and other compliance violations in the district and that rectifies the situations where violations are happening before these situations ever escalate into litigation. In addition, SCPS needs to hire a superintendent who is a former classroom teacher and a former principal and who has a doctorate in education and who is properly trained in teaching in a classroom and who knows what they are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Leslie Kirschenbaum, followed by David White, followed by Raquel Molina.
Good evening, board members. Hello again. SCPS, I'm back because this board's priorities are a mess, and it's our kids paying the price. 2 high schools scheduling prom on the first night of Passover. Dozens of Jewish kids and families were sidelined, and they'll be unable to celebrate their last high school dance, missing their prom because this board dropped the ball. And don't tell me it was an accident. The JCRC of Orlando hands a calendar and lays it out clear as day. Here are the high holidays. Don't schedule anything big. Don't mess this up. You had one job to check it, but you didn't. You ignored it, and now our kids miss out. That's just not an oversight. It's a slap in the face and unacceptable. They said you had it in your hands and you ignored it. That's not a mistake. That's arrogance. It's telling those kids, those families, and their faith doesn't matter, that they don't belong. Well, they do matter, every single one, and you failed them. This isn't just a scheduling glitch. It's an exclusion, and it's wrong. Please, I hope you guys look into this and fix it. Respect our families. Make it right. We shouldn't let this slide. Thank you.
Thank you. David White, followed by Raquel Molina, followed by Jessica Tillman.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Well, you already know my name. You already know about my son. I just spoke about it earlier. I'm going to state a few things from public record. Is there an objection to that, ma'am?
I am not aware of what you're going to state, sir, until you state it.
Public final order.
I'm not aware of what you're going to state, sir, until you state it.
Okay. My child requires one-on-one nursing. 15 physicians are in agreement with that, and 2 of them have written letters. Me being here is not just about my child. Since speaking out, dozens of families have come together, and we've determined that Seminole County doesn't want to do what's right by the child. Seminole County Public Schools is failing students with disabilities. You're ignoring medical directives. You are forcing families into unnecessary legal battles. And you are spending taxpayer dollars to fight against the very children you are supposed to serve. You are hiring, or you have hired, you have not served, you have hired an outside counsel with taxpayer funds to fight a family, here, my family, here in Seminole County.
Sir, if you're addressing a litigation
public
that's
comment,
ongoing,
thank you.
please keep moving.
You claim you're not allowed to talk to doctors, and you haven't been allowed to speak with doctors. However, every form you have, 157, the ISAP, the medical management plan, every bit of it has verbiage in it that advises you can speak to doctors. Every bit of it. This is a pattern. Seminole County makes families fight for what their children are legally entitled to. How many more parents will have to go through what we have? You have a choice to make. You can keep fighting us, keep draining resources, and keep risking children's lives.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you. Raquel Molina, followed by Jessica Tillman, followed by Thomas Bugos. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm trying very hard to maintain a positive attitude, but seeing the things occurring in the ESE department and the full-blown retaliation against the White family, it's very disappointing. SCPS has gone so low, it's beyond repair. Fortunately, SCPS is getting exposed for breaking the special education and retaliation laws and for not enforcing your own policies and procedures. If retaliation is a federal crime and the Office for Civil Rights is just a neutral fact-finding organization who unfortunately can't punish the school system, then who prosecutes the retaliation cases? Retaliation, denial of faith, predetermination, gaslighting in IEP meetings, and bullying, etc., seems to be systemic issues that needs to be addressed, and the culprits should be prosecuted for breaking the laws. Your dirty tactics is to discourage parents and employees' complaints because you want the complainants to know that they won't be taken seriously and run the risk of becoming the targets, right? Speaking for myself, I don't care if I'm a target or not, because once you treat our most vulnerable children like a second-class citizen and cover up abuse, this mama here will stand up against the world to protect our kiddos from injustice. I'm sure you guys will do the same, hopefully. SCPS, please, please, please do better for your students and ethical, caring teachers. You have a lot of good ethical, caring teachers, and you're treating them like crap as well. Do better.
Thank you. Jessica Tillman, followed by Thomas Bugos.
Good evening, Jessica Tillman. DEI is a major issue within SCPS. It shouldn't be a point of order to point out the reasoning for Ms. Kraus, you choosing Ms. Beeman as the superintendent. In your words, you chose Sarita so children could see people in power that look like them. Not my words, yours. The job description of the deputy superintendent states this position is responsible for excellence and equity. The strategic plan represents excellence and equity. We should not be focused on student races, and it is racist to strategically seek out staff of a particular race over another. Policy 2131, excellence and equity. Excellence is the best outcome for each student. Equity means equal outcomes. You cannot have excellence if you have equity. I encourage this district to discuss executive orders provided by the president. There is one for only one flag, but also one that removes all DEI from K through 12 schools. I look forward to this board having robust discussion on this. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Bugos. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, SCPS Board, and Superintendent Beeman. I am Thomas Joe Bugos II, and for almost 2 years now, I have served as president of the Seminole Education Association. In that time, I have witnessed how our educators are too often disrespected and treated as if they are not professionals. I recently had a nursing director look directly at me and say, "You may not understand, but nurses in the medical field uphold their professional standards." As if educators do not, or worse, if they are incapable of understanding what professionalism means. I had an administrator look directly at me and close a locked door in front of me, as if I, as a teacher and the union president, was not worthy. I've been talked down to simply because I am a teacher and the union president. Recently, I had a principal and an AP look directly at me and say that they can't uphold professional standards because of the union. As a union president, my goal is to change that, to ensure that Seminole County teachers are recognized as the highly trained professionals they are, and that our profession is upheld to the highest standards from the top down. Because we all know it is the leaders that set the example for all others to follow. Before I became a teacher, I served as a United States Marine, and one of my jobs was an aviation quality assurance inspector. In the military profession, professionalism was not an option. It was the standard. There was no room for carelessness or excuses. True professionalism means upholding the highest standards at all times, whether in aviation, medicine, or education. The same expectation must exist in our schools. Let me be clear. Professional standards are the foundation of everything a teacher does. Just as in quality assurance and nursing, there is no room for mediocrity in education. Teachers follow evidence-based practices to shape lives, just as nurses follow them to save lives. The difference in education, professional standards are too often ignored, dismissed, or worse, politicized. As union president, I am committed to ensuring the professional standards are not just
Thank you. Your time has expired. If you have
Oh,
written
finish my
notes, you
speech
can
in
give it
April.
to the clerk.
Yes, you can leave your comments if you
Thank you.
choose to. Okay, thank you. Any final comments, Superintendent?
No, just wishing everyone a very good spring break, get some rest, and then come back for that last dash to the end of the school year.
Thank you. Board members, any comments? I would just like to wish our board clerk a happy birthday this past week. Celebrate her birthday. Happy birthday, Jeff. Love you. And Abby, feel better. Enjoy spring break, everybody. This meeting's adjourned.